as she is back inside the Invicta FC cage. Look at the tail of the tape for this atomweight fight. Katie Saul, 34 years old, 5 years the elder of Marissa Valencia. Saul stands 4 inches taller, both on point at weigh-ins at 105.7. It is Saul with a slight reach advantage. For our official introductions of this atomweight affair, here is Joe Martinez.
And now, ladies and gentlemen, we are set to go with the next fight tonight. 3 rounds, this in the atomweight division. Introducing to you first, fighting out of the blue corner. This mixed martial artist stands 5 feet even, weighing in officially 105 3/4 pounds. In 4 professional fights, her record stands at 3 victories with 1 defeat. Fighting out of North Haven, Connecticut, here is the Spider Monkey, Marissa Messer Valencia. And across the cage, her opponent fighting out of the red corner. This mixed martial artist stands 5 feet 4 inches tall. She too weighed in 105 3/4 pounds, and tonight enters the cage for the 8th time as a professional. From Dublin, Ireland, here is the Queen of the North, Katie Saul. And your referee in charge of the action is Nick Behrens.
Atomweight's ready to go inside the Invicta FC cage. Nick Behrens getting this assignment. It is the Spider Monkey, Marissa Valencia, taking on the Queen of the North, Katie Saul. TJ DeSantis, Eve Edwards, Misha Tate live here inside Memorial Hall, Kansas City, Kansas for Invicta FC 44. Valencia in the black, Saul in the white with black. Valencia, a black belt in Brazilian Jiu-Jitsu. She believes that she has the advantage on the feet and on the floor, despite Katie Saul being a member of the Canadian national boxing team. So we'll see how this one shapes up here on the feet. Both women believe that they have the advantage on the feet.
That can make for a really fun fight with both women thinking they have the advantage there. Somebody has something to prove.
I think they both do. Oh, I noticed right off the bat, what I really notice is that Saul likes to keep her jab hand low a lot. Now, that can be a good thing. It can be a bad thing. Where it's a good thing is that it makes it harder to see where that strike is coming from when it comes from a down to up angle. Here, look, these ladies are already getting into it.
These left hands finding a home for Katie Saul.
I like how Saul is using the range. She's dictating the range. She's keeping it, and then she's entering when she wants to, and she's exiting without taking much damage.
That's the other thing I was going to say about the hands down motion is that it allows for better head movement. So you've got to be very confident in your footwork and your head movement in order to keep your hands in that low stance, because you're not relying on blocking punches. You're relying on moving out of the way of them, not getting hit at all.
Misha, stop sounding like a striker. You're a wrestler.
Hey, I have been working very diligently, thank you very much, on the striking. But yeah, these are things that I recognize here, as I try to evolve in this department of it too. It's really high-level techniques to be able to move with your hands down, right? Because your first line of defense then is no longer, as they said, blocking, right? It is head movement. Because if you get hit, there's nothing stopping that right now.
Nice knee on the inside there, the clinch by Katie Saul. Really confident here is the Canadian. You see how she's moving, and the confidence is growing as she has success here in this round number 1. Valencia continuing her pressure forward. Light on her feet, kind of smiling is Saul. Really, again, very confident. Trains alongside Conor McGregor. There's a little Conor McGregor in her style of striking a little bit here, Eve.
Yeah, absolutely. It's that control of the range. It's that being able to dictate when the engagements happen. That's she's doing that with her footwork. She's the taller, longer striker, and she's taking advantage of that. She's striking from the outside. She's landing shots where Valencia can't hit her. Saul is still hitting Valencia when Valencia can't make the reach. She's using that reach to an advantage, and that's beautiful. It's fun to watch, man. That's real boxing.
Right, and Valencia is trying to be the bull in here. She's definitely trying to be the aggressor, but what Saul's doing is exactly what you have to do when you have somebody who's not willing to take a step backwards. You play the matador, right? And Saul moving backwards just enough to almost walk Valencia right into those power hands. You know, whether it be a jab or a right hand, I would argue that both are power hands here for Saul so far in this first round.
Valencia throwing in combination, but not really able to get in on the inside of that reach, and that reach is really sort of shutting down Valencia's offense.
Yeah, and Valencia's face is you know, it's not cut up, but it's red. She's been taking some shots. She's gotten hit more often than Saul, and Saul just looks really good from the outside. I mean, at this point, I would say in the I'm the better boxer argument, Saul is the winner of that argument right now.
Aesthetically, Valencia has suffered some bruising in the past. In the Phoenix tournament, you know, she got marked up a bit, but undeterred was Valencia that night, and I'm sure she's going to make Saul take it away from her here in this one as well.
What I like to see Valencia do is recognize that this is not a boxing fight. You don't only have to strike with your hands and your feet or a kickboxing fight. She can change levels. She can attack those legs and work to get this fight to the mat. Take some of that steam out of Valencia, slow her down a bit, and I'm sorry, out of Saul, slow her down a bit, and then take some control back in this fight.
Valencia threw a kick there that was checked by Saul, and Saul just said, no, you're not going to kick me.
I agree with that, with what you were saying there, Eves, because I think if Valencia could realize that Saul feels far away because she keeps kind of moving her head back away, but what happens is that lead leg is still there. You know, it would serve Valencia well to maybe dip down, you know, fake an overhand and try to grab the leg that she's kind of leaving there.
There's the wrestler I was talking about. Right? she sees a takedown, it's like, I want it.
5 minutes in the books between these atom weights. Misha, let's talk a little bit about some of the action here. Walk us through what we saw.
Well, you know, it was a lot of movement by Saul. She never stayed in one place, and she was able to use that movement to walk Valencia right into the power hand jabs and the backhand there, which would be the left hand.
Berzosa takes on triple threat Tanisha Tennant. That is Invicta FC 44, a new era, live on pay-per-view tonight at 10 p.m. Eastern. Headed to round number 2 between these atom weights. We saw a striking clinic of sorts for Katie Saul in round number 1 for Valencia here in round number 2. Eve, what do you expect as far as adjustments are concerned?
Well, the adjustments I would like to see is for her to stay in front, just like she's been doing, but as she presses forward, she's got to change levels behind her shots. She's not changing levels after she throws these punches, especially, as Misha said, when Saul leans back. When she leans back to avoid those punches, the legs are still there. You have an opportunity to reach down, grab those legs, and work on your takedowns.
See all judges giving that round 10-9 to Katie Saul, so Valencia does need to change things up, and so far, so good. She gets this clinch up against the fence.
Hey, this is much better than fighting her from the outside, than fighting Saul from the outside, because Saul is able to control that range. Right now, there is no range, and we can see right now if Valencia is the stronger woman, and if she can get this fight to the mat, she may have a very good opportunity to catch up on the scorecards.
We talk about that reach at space. Obviously, it's something that Katie Saul enjoys, but we'll turn to the wrestler, Misha Tate. You talk about the size difference in height inside these grappling exchanges, because height can be leveraged as well here.
It certainly can. But what I think Valencia is doing really well is the head positioning. You know, she's not getting out of position here. She's not desperate for the takedowns. She's staying calm and calculated. You know, she's got her neck in line with her spine, in line with her hips. I mean, the takedown hasn't come yet, but these are the precursors that you want to see if you think somebody might be able to get a takedown. I mean, she's showing all the right things so far. But here, look, I mean, Saul showing exactly what she needs to do, which was to disengage and get away from the cage.
You have a matchup between an orthodox fighter and a southpaw stance fighter. Is it hard for Valencia to adjust to the southpaw style of Katie Saul?
It may be. I mean, she's not able to control the distance very well or close the distance well until this round. Like she's pressing harder and just running into these tie-ups. She's not really shooting a shot. She's just trying to get a hold of Saul so that she can start working for a takedown. But she isn't having success with that. So she's allowing Saul to keep the unhooks, keep her keep digging underneath and picking her back up. I think that southpaw style is really awkward for her. I think a lot of wrestlers like to shoot, especially with their lead leg, they like to shoot to the double. With Saul being a southpaw, she can't shoot that double the same way because of the open stance. They both have the same leg forward. Yeah, and with Saul being the taller fighter, I mean, getting those underhooks, it's fine, but you don't have as much control with the underhook. You want to get to that underhook, and then, for me anyway, Misha may correct me on this one, but I like to get to that underhook, and when I'm facing a taller opponent, I want to attack the legs immediately.
I
because,
agree.
oh, hey. It feels good to get confirmation from a good wrestler.
Hey, you know what, though? You're absolutely right, because the head positioning is just a battle that's difficult to maintain a proper head position, right? So you want to get down on those legs where, you know, you do have the advantage of being a little bit higher on that to get the takedown. So we'll see if she makes those adjustments. So far, she hasn't been desperate. She hasn't thrown herself to the ground or, you know, on the bottom. She's maintained good position, although she hasn't got the takedown. As I mentioned, all the right precursors there to lead me, you know, to believe that if the fight keeps ending up in this position, that she will get the takedown.
A little over 90 seconds here left in round number 2. See some knees inside the clinch here. Valencia moving Saul back into the fence, some nice right hands to the body.
And this could bode well for Valencia also, even if they do separate again, because at least now Saul has to accept and respect the fact that, hey, we can get into a clinch, we can get into a tie-up, and maybe in some of these positions where it seems like a tie-up may come, Valencia can land some shots, do some dirty boxing on the inside. But like dirty boxing, attack the legs also. Don't just stay tied up on the top of the body, I think.
Tried to go for that throw, did Valencia, bailed on it. Now Saul trying to reverse the position as they're clinching here at space.
Well, and you see, here's where the disadvantage is of being a tall fighter if you're trying to drop down to dig those underhooks, because your arms get pinned down so low, and that's the low center of gravity that Valencia has right there. She's been able to really kind of stuff those underhooks to where they're useless. Even when Saul does get them, they're serving no purpose except to make her tired. You see that? She's not able to elevate that underhook. Saul needs to elevate the underhook if she has any hope of escaping on that side. And right now those arms are just kind of pinned down there. And that's okay with Valencia. She's not going to mind that one bit. That'll mean she can continue to work the A-game here and win these clinch exchanges.
And this is almost as good as being on top, on the ground. Just pinning them against the fence, landing shots.
10 minutes in the books between these atom weights. It was a different sort of tone there in round number 2 for Valencia. She wasn't able to necessarily get the takedown, but she did control a lot of the moments there. Do you think that was enough to maybe get around on the judges' scorecards there, Misha?
I would think so. I mean, if I had to pick the aggressor and who I thought was more dominant in controlling the action, probably landed more of the shots, I think Valencia was able to make the proper adjustments. It's very important that she got inside, and she found a way to do it. You know, whether it was shooting on the outside or getting to the clinch, you know, she chose to go with the clinch route. That's okay, too. She needed to be inside. She found a way to do it.
And what I seem to notice is that she's slowing Saul down a little bit. Early in that round, it still played out a bit to Saul's favor. But as the round continued on, Valencia was able to hold her against the fence longer, tie her up longer, land more dirty boxing in the clinch. And this third round is going to be telling. If she can do that early and consistently, depending on what we see with the judges' scorecard, she may be able to pull this one out.
And we will see what the judges have to say about it as we are in Kansas. Again, open scoring. Pretty even fight here between these atom weights through 2, but we'll get confirmation of that as we head into this third and final round. Katie Saul in the white with black, Marissa Valencia in the black, and we got it even on 2 of the judges' scorecards with one judge already siding with Katie Saul.
And this open scoring, man, that's really exciting because I feel like right now, if the corners can speak up and let their fighter know where they're sitting, this fight is all determined on this round.
It definitely changes the game. One judge, again, already siding with Katie Saul. But both athletes really have their work cut out for them. Again, want to remind you, our pay-per-view coming up live at 10 p.m. Eastern, 9 Central. It features 2 title fights. Emily Ducote taking on Danielle Taylor for the Strawweight Championship, while the Battle Angel, Lisa Verzosa, takes on triple threat Tanisha Tennant for the 135-pound crown. Atomweight action inside the Invicta FC cage now, with Katie Saul settling in the guard of Marissa Valencia.
Valencia got a little desperate there, like Misha was saying.
Yep.
This is what she was saying earlier in the second round. She didn't want to, or she was happy to see her not do so and pull her down on top of her. But in that clinch, she almost had the position, and then she just kind of, to me, it looked like she rushed it.
Yes, fatigue is the enemy of everybody too. You know, you start to lose position, and that's really what happened. Is her hips just got a little bit displaced, and Saul recognized it, and she went with the momentum and said, "Hey, I'll take top position too."
We'll see if Valencia has a trick up her sleeve here. She's a black belt in Brazilian Jiu-Jitsu. Saul, a purple belt, trying to flirt with a triangle attempt there is Valencia, but Saul wise to it and stands.
The fight isn't over. There's still 3 minutes in this round, and this is the round that counts the most right now.
2 judges have it tied up, with 1 judge already siding with Saul, so really everything on the line here in these final 3 minutes.
Now, I'm curious about that tie-up. Saul initiated that. Now, is that because she feels like she's stronger in these clinches and if she can get to the top again, or is she slowing down? Is she tired?
I notice a very drastic difference between the first round with Saul and this last round with Saul. And as you pointed out, Yves, I think she realizes that she's slowing down a little bit, and it's not going to serve her well. You saw how close that right hand of Valencia's was to actually landing with some force. And she said, you know what? I don't think I have the speed to move on the outside like I like to. So let's play it safe. I feel good in the clinch.
Overhand right there by Valencia, answered by the left hand of Saul and the combination from the Canadian. A little over 2 minutes remains in this third and final round between these atomweights.
Look, and Saul used that clinch. There's those few moments to kind of regroup, catch her breath, so to speak, collect herself, and now you see her moving with a pop in her feet. And she needs to. You can't have this kind of style if you're not staying in an athletic stance and ready to move.
I just noticed Saul looking up at the clock, so I will tell you this. When you take that break and you get back on your toes like this, it feels good until you stop. So if Valencia can tie her up again and settle her down, it slows her down and she gets to feel that pain you feel in your core when you start to get tired.
Yeah, it's like your body's reaching for something to feed me. I need energy. I'm exhausted.
Both these fighters going to have to dig deep here with just about a minute remaining here in this fight. Valencia able to close the distance inside the clinch.
It's going to be real telling if Saul can create separation here. If she gets back on her toes, she's showing me that she's able to dig really deep, because I can tell right now that she's tired. She's not showing it. You don't see it in her face, but as a striker, I see it. I see it in her movement, especially someone who has good footwork like she does.
It's never a good sign to continually check the clock either, when you're talking about fatigue, right? Somebody who's continually, they're battling the clock and the opponent standing away, in front of them. Where I don't feel like that's the case for Valencia. She may not be winning this fight right now, but she doesn't seem fatigued for it.
And sometimes judges continually, really reward advancing in a fight. And Valencia is still trying to move forward. Final few seconds here of this third and final round.
This third round is hard for me to score. I don't know which way I would send it.
Well, the judges will have their hands full as they tally their 10s and 9s. Katie Saul, Marissa Valencia go to war for 15 minutes. The judges will add up their scorecards and we'll have the winner next. You're watching Invicta FC. 15 minutes, Canada's Katie Saul. Pretty confident that she did what she needed to do, but as is Marissa Valencia. It comes down to that third round, Eve. There were moments where Valencia had control. It was, a fight that had a lot of action in a variety of aspects and areas in mixed martial arts, but we'll see what the judges have to say about it in that third round, but it was close.
It was really close, and I think what Miesha said about the aggression, the forward progress, you know, when a fight is this close, that could be the determining factor. We saw Saul get on her toes, create that separation, and for a few moments she did go back to the same fighter that she was in the first round. But at the end of the fight, we saw her squat, and I know that's because she's feeling that in her core. I don't know what the judges are going to see, but that aggression, that forward progress, I mean, that could be the biggest part of that third round.
We'll see what they say. I mean, can either athlete feel confident, you think, Miesha?
I wouldn't, honestly. I honestly don't know who won this. And it also depends, you know, because there was that brief moment there where Saul got on top, remember, in this round. So, you know, how heavily does that weigh on the judges' scorecard? Because I certainly think Valencia was more aggressive in the striking, definitely pushing the pace to try to finish. And it was the last thing that the judges saw. But do they remember that takedown? Do they remember that time spent on top? How valuable was that? We'll find out.
Always hard to diagnose what the judges are seeing. We will find out as they tally their 10s and 9s here in Kansas City. Marisa Valencia, Katie Saul, again, both very confident that they did what they needed to do to get their hand raised. And we will find out a winner in just one moment. We're live here in Kansas City. Katie Saul and Marisa Valencia have fought for 15 minutes. Our judges have tallied their scorecards, and with our winner is Joe Martinez.
Well, fight fans, after 3 rounds, we go to the scorecards. Here are the totals. Judge Mildren has it 30-27 for Saul. Judge Graham 29-28 for Valencia. And Judge DeVilbiss scores it 29-28 for your winner by split decision, the Spider Monkey, Marisa Valencia.
A very close fight goes the way of Marisa Valencia. Dejected is the queen of the